Hello everybody, let's do first steps to get this OPF repository better suitable for you. So if we look at first where we can find your own specific repository, is that we have a group, GitLab concept group, which is containing all subgroups, and these subgroups are specific for every student. So my own subgroup is here, and if I look at inside my subgroup, I can find one repository called core. Core repository is having a lot of files, and our first target is that just check inside what is there, what's in there. So there is a lot of folders, there is just the files. Don't change anything in this first weeks. Try to first understand the basics and then you can do some extra, but now I expect that there is no need for too heavy changes. But anyway, we are looking at the docs folder, and you can find a lot of folders more. There is several folders which could be very simple to check in, and let's look at the current status. There we can find one file called current status MD. What is MD? It's a markdown format file, and what is markdown? You can Google a little bit more this markdown and study first. But idea is that when you are using the markdown notation, you are having this short syntax which you are using to make sure that you can deliver very simple way web page which is having information in a simple way to read, and there is not so much possibilities, but it's main idea is that it's very handy for the coders and software developers who are dealing with a lot of coding, but they want to fast deliver documentation. They don't want to use Google Docs or Word. They want to use the tools which are showing the information in a simple way, but it's very convenient also from the coding point of view. And the markdown is last years it has been grown as a one way of doing documentation. So when we look at inside the current status file, we can see that it's looking like a common text. There is some lorem ipsum text inside, but when we look at here open raw, we can immediately see that there is these hashtags. And what are the hashtags? Meaning we can check the markdown syntax, and we can see that they are making possible to make heading topics. One hashtag is heading 1, 2, 3. You can understand quite easily what they are meaning. And when we are looking at that code, we can find immediately that they are using these different topic levels here. So I go back here, and now let's change some code. I take one example here. So these are the headings. I just copy them, for example, here, and I go to my current status page, and I do edit, and now I add just those topics in the heading levels here and the headings. Let's look at what happens now. As you can see the different heading levels here, and it means that you can actually add some text, and it's quite convenient and fast way to deliver this information to page, and it's simple to read. You can try out or change these values, just checking that everything works fine. This project status page is also one way to communicate to outsiders that you can actually add information about your progressing during the course. Please update this page day by day or week by week. It's your choice. But if you learn to use it, you can find a way, it's convenient way to share the information how you are progressing with your project. Because this is a course about project management and practices, so that your idea is to learn a way how to deal with communicating with other stakeholders, and it's convenient way to collect this information in one document, for example, weekly. But this is the one example of how these files are structured. So current status is very simple, but when you look at the project management, you find a lot of files more. Don't panic. The situation here is that we are using some of these documents only in this course. For example, short project plan. This is the example of the document which you are going to be developing quite much, and you are changing or altering the containment of the document quite heavily. But idea is that we take your assignment, what you have got from the Vimalab in 2022, what other in future we don't know yet, but in spring 2022 we were using Vimalab case, and CodeMind's assignment is having the information which you have to take and a little bit melt down and deliver that information by using your own imagination and write out it in a format that someone understands what you have been dealing with. And first thing what we could do here is that we just take away template text away and say that this is not anymore template, it's our project plan. It can be version 0.1 and I put my name there. And what is the date today? It's a 5/1/2002. So I made some changes there. And now I do the commit. Now I have started to work with the project. I have done first changes on my short project plan file, and I started to update it. And now when I go through these text lines here, I try to fulfill this text according this assignment. I have to read about this around and find a way how it's organized, and then I deliver information according what I've been understanding. There is questions which you cannot easily answer, but some of those are easy enough to understand, and you just deliver what is expected. And what is expected, you can find these kind of creatures around wait a moment there. If you look at your own documentation, I can find a better example. Wait a moment. Wait a moment, I show you one example. This is the owl. If you find this creature, animal picture, wise owl somewhere in your document, you notice that you have to do some changes according this area. This area is needing some attention from you. So when you are doing the documenting, you can focus on these areas where you find these owls. There is plenty of areas which are not fulfilled during the course, but the main idea that these also are showing to you the place where you have to act. But mainly the primary target is to deliver some documents in a level that they are actually having the information which is in this case, and you can deliver that to outside world in a way that someone outside who is reading your documents understands a little bit what is your project actually doing. There has to be some kind of sense of mind in those documentations. What is visible to outside world, I can show now what's going on in back side of the. In same time, when you are changing your documentation, when you are updating these markdown documents inside the repository, there is automatically working a publishing flow which is creating always new web page around according your documents. And you can find your page here. You take a settings and there you take pages and you can look at your own repository as a web page from this location. Please click that and you can see your documents actually in a one web page here, and you can go, for example, this project plan, official project plan. This is my document here. This is a link to your project documentation, and this is visible to the outside world. Yes, I know that someone is saying that, yes, but now I can copy the code from the other side. I hope that you understand that we are collecting your own versions. We are not trying to copy. You have to make your own work, and there is plenty of exercises who are asking quite many kind of changes in this documentation. So we will see immediately if there is a copy paste used. It's quite simple to detect, and we are expecting that you are making a lot of changes on the code. So every code change in the markdown documents is registered, and we are counting these changes. These commit counters are very mandatory, and you will see how things progress during the course. But idea is that you can change the information together and find a way how things should be done. You can actually deliver information to other students and find a way how it would be nice to describe some elements of the project in a way. So you can change information together, but mainly please join the Zoom sessions and let's think about together what's going on inside these project documents. But like you see, these are more readable, like reading the page inside GitLab. And that's the reason why we are dealing with, for example, I'll take this current status page here. This page is nice to read from the coder point of view, but when you are delivering some information to outsiders, it's much convenient to share this link to whole project documentation without extra GitLab level. And this is the showing needed information without showing extra tools and settings and all kind of issues around. So that's the main idea of this project environment. Someone is asking why it's possible to create this kind of page without noticing any. I didn't do anything, and now it's automatically there. It's not automatically there. It's actually using this GitLab CI functionalities. Don't change these internals because they are now working. But you can study or copy and try out in some other repositories, same things. Just make a clone of your own. So then you can change it in your own environment, but in this course, do not change too much. But the idea is that every time when you change your code, it will be publishing new version of web page. It's a static web page. It's called GitLab Pages service. So it will be building GitLab CI continuous integration pipeline functionality I'm talking about. It's working every time when you are doing some changes in your code. And you can see what has last happened here. Pipeline passed. You can look at what has been done in several minutes ago. 7 minutes ago it was triggered by me. And something has happened. There's plenty of warnings not to think about that, but something has been done, and it seems that there's job succeed. It means that something has gone through and there is a deploy passed. It means that this page has been updated. Which page? This page here is recreated according to the change. If I make a new change in my documentation once, you can see what happens. I go to the current status and I just add some enters here and plus commit change. What it means that now there is little change and we can see that okay, there is something going on. Pipeline is running. So it means that I open this page and look at inside and there is something going on in backyard. So this GitLab continuous integration service is activated by the change in the repository, and the change is making sure that it tries to build new version of the web page and deploy that in this GitLab Pages service. There is some warnings, no panic because job succeed. And it means that now the change has happened. I just look at the refresh, it's done. What has happened? As you remember, I just added some extra enters there. It's actually a very sad example because I expect that there is nothing visible, but I just try to do it. Something not so big. Let's do another change. It's much better for you because I would like to show the change. So I go first in the current status. I take this text and copy it just in example. Yes, now there is a really visible change. 4 times this text. And what happens now? I go the core level looking at the repository and then now its pipeline is pending mode. It means that it's pending for the change or it's pending for resource to run this web page creation process. It depends on how many users are currently working in GitLab. It can be very active, and if there is plenty of users, this can be highly in a pending mode, but I expect that it's not anymore. No, it's actually now running. You can always try out to refresh and check. Now the change has been also passed by CI. What happened? Let's hope that now something has changed. Not yet. Yes, now it's there. Now the change is deployed in a web page. This is the way what we have to aim for we have to make changes to documents according the case story, what is actually the CodeMinds assignment from the Vimalab in spring 2022. In next years it can be something else, but I expect that you understand that changing several documents according the case story and then deliver document in a way that someone outside can read it and understand what is your project actually doing. There is plenty of information which you have to go through and overwrite when you understand what you are needing to provide there. That's the basics of the project, how to deal with and how to use this OPF framework. Let's try first these first steps and let's see if we can get it working in a way that we can fix things in these Zoom sessions, but I hope that you do these basic steps first and then ask questions if there is some problem. Okay, thank you, and now I focus in the next videos, I focus on the smaller items. So this is just the introduction level. Thank you. Bye.